This Shabbos, outside of Eretz Yisrael, they'll be reading Parashat Naso. Parashat Naso is the longest parsha in the Torah, 176 psukim, mainly because of the repetition of the different karbanos brought in the dedication ceremony of the Mishkan by the different Nesiim. And there is a fascinating pasuk that ends the entire story. In general, you would have assumed that aside from having this repeat again and again and again and again, so at the very end you have a summation of the amount of this, the amount of paros, the amount of cows, and the amount of these matanos, everything. It's a summation. It's really a beautiful summary, a mathematical summary, if that, regarding all of the different things that were given. But then there's one pasuk that really stands out and really seems to not be relevant. And that's the last pasuk. And when Moshe came to the Ohel Moed, he heard a call from HaKadosh Baruch Hu that was coming from the Kapores, which is above the Aron. What's the relevance? The pasuk right before that seems to be a perfect sentence, perfect way of finishing it. Kol ha-bakar le'olah 12 parim. All of the cattle was, how many olos? 12 cows. Elim 12 kivasim v'nei shana 12 min chasam. There were 12 rams and 12 sheep, and also all the different minachos that were brought. Usirei yizim 12 lechatos. You have the lists. V'chol bakar zebach hashlamim 24 parim. And here's now the totality of everything. Zos Chanukas HaMizbeach Acharei Moshach Oso, and this is the Chanukas HaMizbeach. This is the dedication. Wonderful. And then the pasuk then says, Uvo Moshe Ohel Moed L'daber ito. And then Moshe came into the tabernacle, came into the Mishkan, and to hear the word of God. What is the relevance there? I'll add another question. Also in Parashat Naso, we see the beginning of these very small interruptions within the context of the story. Sefer Bamidbar in general is a story. It's the story of us preparing to get into Eretz Yisrael. And so we know all of the wonderful stories that happen, some more wonderful than others. But there are many stories upon stories all about the traveling within the desert. But every so often you have these somewhat random list of halachos. In Parashat Naso, you have the Nazir, you have the Sota. What do they have to do with anything? And if anything, a Nazir, the concept of Nazirus, the concept of an Isha Sota that has to go to the tabernacle, has to go to the Beis HaMikdash, and to drink, like, what does that have anything to do with the story in the desert? If anything, that would be more relevant to be in Sefer Vayikra, not in Sefer Bamidbar. What's it doing here? So I think one of the most important lessons you see in the parsha is, and also throughout the Sefer, is what's the goal of the entire story? The goal of the entire story is not to just bring the karbanos. Yes, of course we have to dedicate the Mishkan. Of course we have to dedicate it in ways where each and every Nasi and Shevet has the opportunity to express themselves in terms of a Hakaras HaTov and of kavod to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. But that's not the end goal. The end goal only is if v'shachanti b'socham. V'asuli mikdash v'shachanti b'socham. We made for ourselves the mikdash. But we need HaKadosh Baruch Hu to be there. Only after you have Uvo Moshe El Ohel Moed do you actually see that we succeeded. Yes, we dedicated the Mishkan. We have the Mishkan. But is HaKadosh Baruch Hu there? That's why you have the end of the pasuk, the end of the parsha. That's why it ends specifically after the summation. It says, "Uvo Moshe Ohel Moed L'daber ito." And when Moshe came, HaKadosh Baruch Hu was there talking. That's the same lesson that you have with why do you have all these little snippets of distraction, so to speak, or these interruptions, I would say better, in the middle of Sefer Bamidbar. Because Sefer Bamidbar is a story, but sometimes in life, we're distracted from the goal. And we have to remember that we have a goal of Kedusha. We have a goal that HaKadosh Baruch Hu lives within our midst. And we can't forget that. That's what Sefer Bamidbar is all about. Sefer Bamidbar is the journey. But within that journey, we have to constantly remind ourselves of the Kedusha of having HaKadosh Baruch Hu live and dwell within us as well. That's our goal. Our goal is not to only have that Mishkan where HaKadosh Baruch Hu dwells, but also to create a situation where our entire lives, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is with us the entire time. Have a wonderful Shabbos.